today I'd like to share with you another of my gardening books. This one's called The Mediterranean Gardener by Hugo Latimer, and this was gifted to me by somebody who was clearing out their home and wanted to downsize. So of course I was going to grab this book. I haven't read very much of it yet. I make some little notes as I go, if there's anything of interest to me. There's lots of pictures. The only downside I've found of this book is the fact that there's not pictures of everything. And I like to see something with a picture so I can identify things. So we have a little forward and then information about the climate. And yes, Cyprus is a Mediterranean country, so this is why this book's good. The content is choosing a style of garden, courtyard gardens, patio gardens, dry low maintenance gardens, terrace hillside gardens and gardens with water. We have a section on elements of design, paving and hard surfaces, lawns and ground cover, walls, hedges and pergolas, water features, containers and raised beds, choosing plants, and then a section on plants for Mediterranean gardens, explanatory note to the codes, trees, palms, sword palms and cycads, shrubs, climbers, perennials, annuals, bulb, culms, tubers, rhizomes, cactus, succulents, and their section on the three fundamentals: watering, soil, shade, and then finally choosing the right plants, useful addresses, bibliography, index and acknowledgements. Obviously we have the forward first. As I say, lots of beautiful pictures, but more indication on the pictures, and a picture of everything would be more helpful. So talk about the Mediterranean climate, creating a Mediterranean climate if you don't live in Mediterranean gardening in the British Isles. And as I say, some beautiful pictures in the book. Really pretty pictures. This is choosing a style. I do like arches. I'm a great lover of arches. And when I see a garden I like a picture of, or a cottage garden, I'm quite keen on cottage gardens, or even little tiny patios or courtyards made into a garden, and I think, oh, that's pretty. I always think, what is it that is making it pretty? And for me it's often arches. So if you see something you like in a garden, think, what is it you're actually liking? It might not be the plants. I like beautiful features, and we're trying to add more features in our garden. So you go to different areas and discover something there, whether it's a little feature or a little place to sit. So that's what we're trying to do on our land right now. Even just the type of garden furniture can set the scene and make the garden look completely different. You don't need a big area. As I say, courtyards or just a little small patio can be made so pretty, even with just many pots overflowing with plants and flowers. I do like a wild garden. This is why springtime in Cyprus is my favourite time, because it's got so many pretty wildflowers absolutely everywhere. So here we have a bit about terraced hillside gardens. Terracing can be quite difficult to deal with. My suggestion is to make completely different themed areas, have something different on each terrace, so it's not just looking like a bit of land all the same, but as in terraces, make each terrace something else. So yes, like you could have a water feature in one area, hedging in another area. This section is elements of design. We'll probably feature more sections in this book in another video. This is just the overview looking through the book. Paving and hard surfaces. You do lay things down if you're making any sort of paving where you won't get weeds coming through. It's worth the cost and the time. This is very pretty. And old stone steps. It doesn't have to be a new looking garden. I actually find these rambling looks very pleasing. More formal look. Formal gardens are very nice, but they need so much maintenance. This is lawns and ground cover section. We can't have lawns in Cyprus, we just have this time of year, winter through to spring, where you do get lots of green, but the rest of the year is so arid. And if you do get seasons of no green, then look for some evergreens that will last. This is very pretty. Again, Mediterranean gardens need shade, whether it's for sitting or indeed growing. They do need shade. Water's good, but be aware when you're doing water features that you're not in a fly or a mosquito area. It's nothing worse than saying how lovely it is to have water and then be plagued by any form of mites. Always have seating areas wherever you can put them, particularly if you have big lands or big garden. You'll want to wander around, but you might want to sit. And if you have very big land, you might want to take a drink with you and sit and relax. So even here, let's say this was a tiny little courtyard, they can fill a wall and steps with plants. This is container and raised beds. And not just for plants, this is a good way to grow vegetables. You do not need a large garden in order to do that. I don't have many flowers in my garden. I tend to have a patio area or two with plants mostly, and then oleander and things like that around the rest of my garden. In spring, all our fruit trees have blossom, which again is why it's my favourite time. So this is about choosing plants. This is a section I don't read. As I say, I mostly grow crops, but we have flowers and geraniums and things like that dotted around that don't need much attention. This section's plants for Mediterranean gardens. I'm not very good at plants. I can tell you more about wild plants than I can normal flowers. This is explanatory note of the codes. So this is talking about height, spread, range, cold resistance, watering needs, speed of growth. So they have codes throughout the book for this. Suitability of coastal conditions, season of greatest interest. trees. Now I'm learning more about trees as I go. We have so many pine trees and conifers that I will be doing a video on each of those. And then they've got all their proper names and then a bit about them. This is the bit I say I don't like. I would love a picture of each thing. Even if it was a tiny picture, it would give some help. There are a few pictures. Obviously they're named, but that's not much help when you want to identify what trees you actually have. So I do feel that's the downfall of this, not to have a little picture with each type of tree. Yes, you can get apps, I know, but I'm saying the actual book, that's what would have been of benefit. And I know my trees by their common name, so I've had to try and figure out, going through this whole book, what my trees are. Even your basic trees, say lemon trees, are not called lemon trees in the book. So in some respect you've got to know the name of your tree in order to find them out in the book. So this is lemon blossom and the lemon trees and other fruits. We had some of these in our garden when we first came, but they didn't survive. But very informative. It tells you the height they all grow to, the temperatures, obviously where to locate the trees. Magnolia. As I say, a beautiful book. The tree section is what I've really been looking at in this book more than anything. So I think the next thing I need to do really is get a book where you've got, like my wildflower books, you have a picture with literally every tree. I also want an insect book of Cyprus insects. I really want one of those. This section I've read a lot on. This is palms, saw palms. I have lots of these type of plants. So I did do a lot of looking into this. I have date palms. I have elephantus yuccas, which are the ginormous, really tall ones. I have lots of different types of palm trees in my garden. We have some of this type. So this is Washington or Washingtina fifera. Different types of yuccas, as I say, the huge ones. These are the ones, they have fruit on the top and you actually bake the fruit. They come out like, I would say, little mini baked potatoes, and we cook them on our open log fire in our lounge. So were they nice? Yes, they were, but so small. So small. They're only like a bigger than a huge olive, but not much bigger. So yes, this section, this is shrubs now. There's lots of wild shrubs in Cyprus, so unfortunately a lot of them aren't in this book because these are more garden ones. There's a big section on bamboo. We have massive bamboo here, and it's not the type that overruns. I know a lot of people talk about bamboo overrunning, but it depends on your variety of bamboo. We just have enough that we forest, if you like, and harvest and use for projects. So I hope this has been an enjoyment to you, to at least see some pictures. As I say, I might do different segments of this book in more detail in a future one. And then read you sections of this of my trees. I will do a video of my trees that aren't fruit trees. Maybe more my different palm trees. We're obviously now onto some more floral. This is oleander. I've got so many videos on how to grow it, how to take cuttings of it. Oleander is everywhere, particularly in Cyprus. Even down the middle of our freeways or motorways. We have pretty freeways and motorways here, and they are always planted in the centre between the two different directions of the freeway. So you'll see them everywhere. We have pink, we have white, we have yellow, we have red. I have only pink in my garden. This is now climbers. Very authentic. This is the most authentic climber that you'll see in Cyprus particularly, but lots of the Mediterranean as well. Very pretty. And then you get red ones. My friend's got a really big red one. And then this is the apple blossom variety. So as I say, it covers everything. It's all about each one of these and more. That's very pleasing, a nice arch with a gate. I like a nice stone walled garden. It's something I quite like the look of. As I say, a nice cottage garden is my ultimate style of garden, but obviously that wouldn't suit where I live here. We have more patio gardens here. Mike likes a nice courtyard. And just as I say, some wonderful pictures. If you're into drawing or art, sometimes it's nice if you're, say, in a town and you can't go out and paint pretty locations, just grab yourself a gardening book. If that's the sort of thing you like to draw or paint, and just copy from that. You could come up with some really beautiful pictures. Or indeed, whatever subject you like to draw, you could always get some books and copy from books if you can't get out and about, or if you don't have access to the sort of things you like to paint. That's often how I used to draw. Or it doesn't have to be a copy, you could just take inspiration from them. So we're into perennials now. Now we're into annuals. As I say, if you like something, a picture of a garden, just work out what it is you like. Is it the colours? Is it all pots everywhere? So there's some very pretty colours here. Are you somebody who likes all your flowers to be a certain couple of tones or colours? Or are you someone who just likes all colours mixed in together? Are you a formal gardener or informal? Do you just grow something because you like it? Or do you look into it first and see what goes with what? I'd be really interested to know. So do drop me comments and let me know about your flower gardens. This is cacti and succulents now. In my teenage years I was into different cacti and succulents. I didn't like the sharpie ones, but anything else. I have loads of cacti and succulents here of many kinds. And finally we're on to the 3 fundamentals. And just some pictures to finish. When to water, how to water, sections on that. This is irrigation control devices. Wow. Interesting. Lots of information there. Soil, shade, and choosing the right plant, so you can have a quick guide at climbers for quick cover, containers, trees and palms, climbers that are self-clinging, fragrance flowers, guaranteed, tough, self-confident plants that given the right conditions will grow easily, and trees, shrubs, climbers in that section, hibiscus, hedges, types of hedges, patio plants for colour. This is quite a good section. Silhouettes, plants with interesting shapes or dramatic form that, encouraged by pruning, show up well against a white wall, the sea, the sky, or pale distances. That's useful. Swimming pool compatible. Now, if you've got a swimming pool and you have snakes or any dangerous animals that like water, do not plant plants around your swimming pool. I see here so many people think geraniums will look super around their swimming pools, but they hide the snakes. So that's a big no-no. And then useful addresses, bibliography and index. As I say, you've got to know what the things are actually called. And there's a little bit obviously about the author in the back. I'll just pause that there so you can see it. So I hope you enjoyed that book. Look out for more of my gardening books and also my recipe books. And if you have a wonderful gardening book, do let me know about it. I'm particularly interested in homesteading books, but not about the animal side. So if anyone knows any good homesteading books of growing or eco books, that kind of thing, then please put them in the comments below. Until next time, Meraki.